Jennifer Shaheen here, founder and president of Technology Therapy Group. And I received a great question in our questions box, which is, as an independent jeweler looking for a new platform for my website, what would I recommend? The person who submitted the question provided a couple of platforms they were considering. GoDaddy, Wix, Shopify, WordPress, Weebly, I'm cheating, Squarespace, Google Sites, Durable, and Strikingly. So, full disclosure, I have not had a chance to play with Durable or Strikingly. So I can talk to the others. So first, let's start with understanding that whatever choice you make, you need to make it for the place that your business is today and where you want your business to be in the next 2 years. It doesn't make a lot of sense to think beyond that because technologies change. Now, why do I say that? I say that because when you're picking a platform, you may also think about your growth plans, and sometimes we pick a platform that will help us grow quickly, but then we will outgrow it. If that is something that you're thinking about, then you will make different choices. I often equate this to thinking of it like real estate. You may not be able to buy out a building yet for your store, but you might rent a kiosk in the mall. So think in terms of real estate when you're thinking about this. If you're not ready to do a full build out of a store or a building, sometimes you're not looking for a platform that requires that element of build to get you going. That's one thing to consider. Another thing you want to think a little bit about is, how are you growing your business? So as an independent jeweler, are you going to take appointments? Are you going to sell online as well as sell in person? Those are important things to consider. Are you someone who's going to use platforms like Google Shopping? Do you want Google Shopping to carry your products? Do you want to tag your products on Instagram? Are you thinking you might also have an Etsy shop? These are also important questions when you're choosing a platform. The reason you want to think about these questions now is because those questions require integration. And this is where the details are, because not each of these platforms is very supportive in connecting with third-party tools. Some are just a little farther ahead of the game. So for example, Shopify is really a quick go-to for me when I answer this question. And the reason I do is because out of the box, Shopify has a really nice user-friendly interface for managing your products, for managing the design of your website. It also offers inventory management, analytics, and because it's been around for so long, it was definitely the first for connecting to third-party platforms. It was the first one to offer buyable pins. It was the first one to connect with Instagram. It was the first one to connect to TikTok. So you do want to think about that, because if you are thinking of taking your online store products and pushing them into those third-party platforms, it will be easier with a platform like Shopify. It does not mean that some of the other platforms don't support it. It's just sometimes they're not as easy to use, and they often sometimes require an additional element of integration. For example, Shopify has direct apps that connect with Meta's Instagram and TikTok, but you might find that with something else, you might need to use a third-party Zapier system. You do want to look at this when you're making those decisions. The other things you're going to want to look at is, what other tools you're going to want to integrate with. So for me, oftentimes for my independent jewelers who are just getting started out of the box or looking for something that maybe a 1 to 3 person business under $1 million, I think Shopify is a great fit. It's actually going to give you the room to grow. It has an ecosystem that has third-party elements that will allow you to add on more features. Now, that's an important thing to remember, is third-party elements are a big part of all platforms, and it's also where you start to pile on additional costs. So something to think about as you're looking at the different platforms. I'll be pretty upfront about the fact that I've tested GoDaddy. I have not found it very supportive, especially when I want to do certain layouts, designs. I find it to be very difficult to use. I've played with Squarespace and Wix, and it butts heads with the things that I would like it to do. One of the things that I really look for, especially with jewelers, is more filters for your products. And oftentimes the platforms don't allow for things that extend the user experience for filters and complex searches. So that's often the other reason I lean into Shopify. Full disclosure, I am a Shopify partner and I have been using it for over 10 years. Now, I haven't brought up WordPress, and the reason I haven't is because I love WordPress. We are WordPress developers. We've been using WordPress here longer than we were using Shopify. The reason I stepped to the side on that one is because for me, independent jewelers that are using a WordPress site are usually looking for more in-depth integrations and more control over their site. Things that they may not be able to get easily out of a platform like Shopify. But if you look at some of the most amazing sites online today, you'll find that these two are pretty big contenders with each other, Shopify and WordPress. The thing you also want to look at is, besides the setup and the integrations, is the cost to keep the sites alive. So you will have to pay fees no matter who you work with. So WordPress requires a hosting company. Shopify has hosting built into it. Credit card processing fees automatically are built into Shopify. It's actually one of the ways they make money, is you're going to use their credit card processor. And with WordPress, you're going to need a third party like a Stripe or an authorized.net, and you may pay different fees there. All platforms have those third-party integration tools, so those are called either add-ons or plugins, depending upon what companies you look at, and those sometimes are also either monthly or annual fees. So I'm sorry to say it's not a quick answer, but for me, if I were getting started, I would pick Shopify out of the gate because it gets you going. It's easy to use, and one of the things I do like about it is I can also get out of it if I want to move to a more advanced platform in the future. I hope that helps answer your question. If anyone has a question for our questions box, please submit it and stop by TTG for more helpful tips to help you grow your business.